Here's a question for you. How many meters of weld on a restoration of this size? What's your guess? If you were to pluck a number out of the air or have a think about what we've done to it, and you've got the opportunity now because we're walking around the car and showing you everything about everything, come up with a number, put your number in the comments section, and closest guess gets a Bodymods T-shirt. Put your comment in and give us what you think what it all comes to. If you're closest to the actual number, we'll send you a T-shirt. Hi everybody, welcome back to Bodymods. We were in the tail end of the Statesman. We're really at the pointy end now. The body is done. So I like to finish the bodies and then move on with the bolt-on stuff. Doors, front guards, front clip, that sort of thing. So we are done with this body. It's looking really good. Thought we'd actually have a bit of a walk around and show you, because it's been a bit of a journey. This car's been through quite a lot. It's an interesting project. So we thought that we would do a bit of a review on where it's come from and where it's ended up. So come for a wander and we'll show you what we've been up to. If we look at this nothing little patch in the floor here, not one of my better efforts to be fair. It's 100 high by about 80, 360 mil of weld has gone into that nothing little patch. So when you start talking about sills that are over 1700 long, so 1.7 meters, so there's 3.4 meters of weld for the left and the right, and that's not including the plug welds across the bottom. You can't see the welds on this bit because we've painted it, but 98% of the welds on this car are still visible. So, but to give you a bit of an example, because this has got a new piece welded in here, it's about 300 mil on this inner, and then there's a middle section underneath which you can't see. There's about 200 mil, so there's half a meter of weld to weld two patches in there. So same thing, we've actually put some new metal through here. You can actually see a bit of a weld line there. So from there back, that's been replaced. And remember, when you're doing your numbers, this car was consistently rusty on both sides. So there's a meter of weld. So think of a number, say for the whole left-hand side of the car, and double it. Then there's the really obvious stuff, like the two pieces of rear seat pan, guard bottoms, boot floor, wheel housings, lots of plug welds, so not actual continuous welds, still welding, you know. If you added every plug weld together and called them 10 millimeters each, it wouldn't surprise me if there'd be a solid 80 plug welds on that wheel housing, and same thing left and right. Also you can see this section here, which is, it's got a weld through it because we replaced that bottom section of the inner wheel housing. Had to do the same left and right. Rear lower panel. Alright, so that gives you a pretty good idea of the underside of the car. So there's a decent weld length. Obviously another weld through there. That's a MIG weld. I tend to MIG weld stuff that I can't get a hammer and dolly to properly, which it's a bit frustrating. It's pretty good. Not as good as I would like it to be. Better than the factory lead joint that we took out. Here's a piece. There's a piece. There's a full weld along the top of both rear quarters because that's where we cut the quarter off to get underneath it. There's a new piece of metal here with a double weld all the way across. Both sides fully welded across there and across there, plus a small piece put in the corner of it. We put one small patch in the cowl underneath it. Inside the car you've pretty much seen everything, so don't double up your numbers because obviously we've looked at these patches from the bottom. What we haven't looked at is that seat riser. That's been off, repaired and put back on. Same thing as the wheel housings, they're just plug welded on, so not massive weld length, but if you were to count those plug welds and call it 10 millimeters for every plug weld, let's say there's 20 plug welds on that section there, go left and right, front and rear, there's probably a solid meter of plug weld holding that part on. I'm just going to guess some numbers. There's 80 mil in that one, there's 90 mil in that one, probably 90 in that one, and 150 in that one, just in those 4 little patches, plus there's another one there, and then obviously same again as the other side, all of that. That rear screen opening, every single piece of metal around that rear screen opening has been off this car, because the roof skin was off, the rear quarters were off, which means that was all split, and then that's all new. So it's all been off. So let's hope Paul knows what he's doing, because that rear screen needs to fit back in this car when we're done. Same with the boot opening. The deck panel's been off the car, the quarter's been off the car. The rear panel hasn't. But same thing. We've had to go to a lot of trouble to make sure that that boot fits. Actually, we didn't just go to a lot of trouble, we wanted to improve on it, because from new, it wasn't great. So we took the opportunity to try and get some gains out of it, and I think we've done pretty well. I haven't had a boot lid on it for a while, but I think I'm pretty happy with where it's ended up. Rear quarters. There's a bottom on that dog leg. So there's a weld around there with some plug welds. This whole wheel arch, there's a full MIG weld, starts from there, runs all the way down to the top edge of the sill. And obviously the sills, another MIG weld, full length of the top of the sill, all the way down, left and right, plug welded through the wheel arch. Rear quarters, so another decent sized TIG weld, full length of the bottom of the guard, right up the guard, across that swage line, and then as I mentioned on the other side, MIG welded down through that wheel arch. There's a little bit of daylight there. So these get these random little rust holes. So we have to make sure we spot all of that and fix them all. We've actually gone through this car really thoroughly, and there's one that got past me. So when we had the deck panel out, which is that top panel there, we also had to pull out that lower panel, and you'll remember that it was really rusty around where that hinge cage hangs off it. It's one of the few areas in the car that's actually painted and you can't see the welds. So if you want a number to add to the number that you're working on, then it's going to be at least 250 per run, and let's call it a square weld line. So there's going to be a metre of weld up in there per side. So up under there's another sneaky little bit that we actually managed to access that with the rear quarters off, and I'm going to say that that's 400mm of weld, left hand and right hand. Rear lower valance, we replaced that new. Made it out of 2 pieces, simply because I find it a little bit easier to handle. If I was showing off, I'd make it in one, but there's no need to be showing off, right? It was actually quite a cool panel to make. It's hard to appreciate it, but it's got a bit of shape in it. So another decent amount of weld. But this is one of my favourite angles as far as metalwork goes, because there's so much going on. Just remembering that Andrew's not painting this car. So this is as it's going to stay. We're obviously going to put some protective coatings over the bare metal so that it doesn't rust. But all this workmanship is going to be on display. So if you ever get to stand next to the car, and I hope you do, then you'll actually be able to see this stuff in the flesh. And another thing about this angle is, so highs and lows for Paul, that wheel arch both sides challenged me a lot. And I don't know if you think that looks technical, it probably doesn't. It's a fairly plain looking wheel arch, but because it flares across the top and then rolls into a complete flat section, so there's a blend, I actually found it quite difficult. It challenged me more than anything else on the car by a lot, which includes the roof. A lot of people, I think, would think that roof was one of the most difficult parts of the car. I'm not going to say it was easy, but I am going to say that it went well. The biggest secret to this going well and being successful is we pulled that roof skin off. We just committed to the fact that there was just a bit of pinch weld left across the front and across the rear. That was all that was holding on to the car once we'd cut the rust out, so it's just like we might as well pull it off, get decent access to our welds, so we can turn out a really good result. So there we are, we've done a walk around, we've shown you everything about everything as far as how much metal's gone into it and how much welding's involved. So what's your number? Have you added it up, and what have you come to? Put your number in the comments section, like, share and subscribe, and the closest guess to the actual weld length gets a Bodymods T-shirt.